Hello, welcome to Dun Girls Podcast. I'm your host Justin. Today we're reviewing Moon Knight, Volume 1, The Bottom, by Charlie Huston and David Finch. David Finch is known for his amazing art on Batman, right? And he did a pretty good job on Moon Knight. This trade paperback collects issues 1 through 6 of Moon Knight from 2007, or that's at least when the trade was put out, right? And like Charlie Huston apparently worked on the Hank Thompson trilogy, and David Finch worked on New Avengers, probably with Brian Michael Bendis. I always forget Brian's first name. I got this book a long time ago. I paid $17 for it, but it usually goes for 15 US, 24 Canadian, right? Which is a thick book, by the way. It's thick. Very thick book. So the story about this book is um, basically, this is about how, like, it's kind of like a demon in the bottle kind of story, where you have the rise and fall of a character, right? This is about Mark Spector, Moon Knight, who, during a brutal fight with his arch nemesis Bushman, he gets both his legs broken, right? And kills Bushman, right? Kills Bushman, which he breaks his legs falling off a building, right? Which, what happened to his werewolf strength and healing factor he got from the what's that character called? Not Wolfman, Werewolf by Night character. Which that's if you ever read the '70s Moon Knight, that's where he got his powers from. That's his first appearance. Yeah, so like this book gets pretty brutal. He rips off Bushman's face, and that's as brutal as the book gets. All the ultra violence and action happens pretty much in the first issue, right? So the book is basically like what happens is Mark Spector, which that's his real name. Um, After getting crippled, he gets addicted to pills, loses his friends, right? And one of his old friends, the hobo, meets up with him and tells him, "Hey, go and see your friend John Paul. He has something to tell you," right? And while this is going on, the committee is back, and they hired this guy named the Profiler, who really is a jerk off. Like he's an asshole. He reads things about people, and it is not shy about blurting it in front of everybody, right? So here he's kind of one of those cold reader types where he can look at somebody and knows what kind of person they are. Like this guy, he's like, oh, he's vain, he's overgroomed, bad breath, raped his first lover, shit like that. Will die young and unloved. How do you would know that? I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, he's building, like, this guy's building like a profile to the committee on how to defeat Moon Knight, right? Which Moon Knight has already, shit's pretty bad for him. So like you get like a retelling of Moon Knight's origin story, or at least retconned one, where he's this avatar of vengeance, kind of like Ghost Rider, but for like an Egyptian god. Where at first he was just a guy, a mercenary who was hired by the community to capture the werewolf by night, but after getting the costume from the committee, he decides to I'll be a superhero now. But then they change. Yeah, they like I said, they retconned that, right? Which they even retconned him and made him Jewish, and his dad was a rabbi, and it's like, what the fuck, man? Because, like, Mark Spector, if you read the old comics, you know, he was pretty much drawn to look like Clint Eastwood. Right? And Clint Eastwood, to me, does not look Jewish, right? So here's where you find out that John Paul, the book is very woke, and you find out Jean Paul Frenchy, which is the sidekick of Moon Knight, who flew the mooncopter. You find out, you know, he's gay here with this guy, right? I forget his name, right? And how he tells him, John Paul tells him, is so gentle. Mark, Rob is not my partner. He is my partner. It's like, what the fuck kind of phrasing is that? And this is where he tells him, like, what about all those women you fucked? And he's like, oh yeah, they were beards. I was only doing that because I was the bodyguard of millionaire Stephen Grant. I had, like, appearances to, like, you know, make. This is where the book gets retarded. Because, like, the book tries to be woke by having Frenchie be gay. But then it's like, okay, but then it's like, you... to make people think you weren't gay, you were having relationships, you were having sex and having a relationship with women that you had no interest from like point zero to, like, you know, from the beginning of, like, you know, having any kind of meaningful relationship. You were just using these women, right? Which is very sexist and misogynistic, which Frenchie is that, but it's like, dude, like it's the thing where you try to make your character, it's like the thing where these woke writers are like, okay, it's, well, if he was actually gay the entire time, then that makes what he did all right, right? Which is, it's not all right. That was fucking wrong, right? Yeah, the only saving grace of this book, like I said, is the art by David Finch, right? And there is some cool action, right? Oh, there's also, like, Moon Knight has crazy visions of Khonshu fucking with him. Which the dialogue is pretty bad here, right? The dialogue is awful, especially, like, Taskmaster shows up, and he acts pretty badass at first, but then, like, you read the dialogue he's saying, and it's like, it's shit like Deadpool would say, right? But, like... And then, like, you know, it's the thing where, like, Taskmaster starts off, Taskmaster is hired to kill, like, Moon Knight for the committee, but he has to makes them suffer, right? Oh, does this remind you of, like, Batman Year One, where, like, where Batman gets saved by his, like, butler who uses a shotgun? Here it's like Stephen Grant's, which is the millionaire identity of Moon Knight. Butler shoots Moon Knight. Sorry, not Moon Knight. Taskmaster with the blunderbuss, right? Yeah. So what happens is Moon Knight gets his ass kicked and, like, dons his costume again, despite having crippled legs. His crippled legs just went away, I guess. And he fights Taskmaster, and it's very one-sided. Was going to cut his face off, but changes his mind. Yeah, and then they sequel bait. So yeah, my problem with the book is the art is great, but everything else, story, characters, is pretty bad, man. It's pretty bad, the dialogue and everything. The only saving grace of this book is the beautiful art by David Finch, and that's pretty much all this book has going for it. So unless you can get this book for cheap, I wouldn't recommend it. At best, I would give this, like, you know, 5 out of 10. And that's pretty much more than this book deserves, right? But like I said, I thought, you know, it has beautiful art. So if you can get this book for, like, I would say less than $10, I would say it's worth it. So for my next review, Well, my next review, I'm going to be reviewing that fantasy book, Dragonbone. But for my next comic book review, I'm going to review this. Tales from the Ten-Tailed Cat, which is a Warhammer fantasy graphic novel. I've had this for years and never read it. So I'm just making sure there's... I'm surprised it's not that expensive, because usually... Oh... I thought I smelled something... Speaking of cats, I thought I smelled something bad. And my cat pooped in the corner. Fantastic. I'm gonna have to clean that up now. It's like, I just cleaned your litter box this morning, cats, and you had the poo on the floor. Fantastic. But yeah, this is gonna be our next comic book review, and I'm thinking of doing some videos where I show off my fantasy book collection and my... before I do that, I'm probably going to show off my JRPG PS1 game collection, but that will probably be in 2 parts. So I'm thinking maybe tomorrow I'm going to upload a video of that. So let me know, well, not either tomorrow or the weekend, depending on when I finish my book that I'm reading, which I'm going to review that. So let me know in the comments if you would like to see videos of me showing off my JRPG PS1 collection and my fantasy book collection, right? Alright guys, that's it for this